What about Steve Sims? I love that kid. I like his talent, and I think Jay likes him too. I could tell the way he uses him. He likes to come up with these little packages for him. When he's been given the opportunity, he's made a few plays. Do you see him having a little role this week?
For sure. I mean, they've been using him, like you said, in kind of different little packages. Maybe you just have him on the field a little bit more, working the slot. He has playmaking ability and kind of some explosion that the rest of these wideouts don't have.
Yep.
One thing I'd like to see, we've seen what Sims has done on kick returns, and you don't really get a lot of opportunity. Most kicks are out of the back of the end zone now in the NFL. They trust Trey Quinn to make smart decisions in the punt return game, but Trey Quinn's not going to have explosive returns. I think what they like about Trey is that he knows to keep his heels on the 10. He knows when to field a ball, when to get away from a ball, and they believe in his hands to actually catch it, which became a problem with Crowder, if you remember. But I think with Sims, for a team that needs big plays and needs scoring,
might be worth the risk. Yeah,
it might be. I wonder if they're tracking towards that. I asked Jay about that 2 weeks ago, maybe after the Cowboys game, and he wasn't. He said they trust Trey, and that's why Trey's getting the looks. But Sims is a different level of playmaker.
Right. Well, all right, let's talk about the defense. Obviously, well documented. They can't get off the field on third down. I mean, they were bad last year. They're 43%. They're like 64 right now. I mean, just awful. What can they do? They got a better game from Sweat, I thought, his best game so far, but they still need a ton more.
Sure. I think it starts with those guys up front. I mean, Sweat being better, and I sat down with Ryan Kerrigan this week for our pregame show, and he was more honest about his shortcomings so far this season than I've ever heard him. He said he's got to be better. He explained to me that he kind of got away from his technique a little bit. I mean, we've all watched Ryan Kerrigan for a long time. We know that his game is strength and attacking the tackle kind of head on, bull rushing more or less. And Kerrigan told me that early this year he's kind of relied on his hoop move too much, which is trying to get outside and going around the tackle with speed. And I think Kerrigan plans on getting back to his kind of brute strength attack, and I think that will help this team a lot. And then they need the interior guys, Ioannidis, Allen, Payne, to each one of those guys has had a good game, right? Ioannidis played well against Chicago. Payne has been excellent through the first two games. Allen missed some time. They need all three of those guys to get going concurrently. And then that's how this defensive front was supposed to look all along. That's how they were built. That's where the strength is supposed to be. I think if those guys can get going, it'll have a tremendous impact on the secondary. The secondary has been bad. I'm not trying to sugarcoat that, but they're also back there, 3-4 seconds where most NFL quarterbacks and receivers will figure out a way to get open.
JP, do you think the defensive coaching staff for the Redskins was surprised or alarmed at how well Daniel Jones played in his debut in Tampa last week?
Probably both.
Right.
I think, when they thought they were going to maybe see Jones week 4, they were hoping it would be somebody they could game plan and confuse, and he looked very steady and really impressive against the Bucs. I would say the Skins probably have a little more firepower defensively, but at a certain point, we got to stop thinking that because they're not producing. So the quote I've gone back to a number of times was John Allen talking after OTAs back in May, and he said, we got a lot of pieces, but pieces don't win games. And I don't know if that – I know that we've all talked about Minuski and the job he's done and kind of his track record for a few years now, trying to get more out of these players. The players will tell you it's on them. It's not the coaching staff's fault. I asked Greg yesterday, I said, hey, the players say it's their fault. How do you get them to play better? And he kind of didn't answer it. I mean, Minuski kind of just does mostly coach speak. But at some point, either the guys aren't good enough or the scheme isn't good enough. And I think it's admirable that players don't want to throw the coaches under the bus, but something, all of it is a farce.
You like the Giants laying 3?
Probably. It's hard to say that because, I don't know. I liked the Skins getting the points last week against the Bears, which was really stupid. So, yeah, Daniel Jones looked excellent. This defense has been carved up by Mitch Trubisky. it's hard not to like Jones again.